The US is becoming a nation of tea drinkers. American taxpayers in more than 500 cities across the country are holding rallies dubbed tea parties. They've decided to protest against growing tax burdens on Wednesday, and that's the deadline for filing federal income returns. Well, for more, RT's Aliona Mikovsky joins me live from Washington, D.C. So who's behind the rallies, and how are they being organised?
Well, the way that these rallies are being sold is that they're grassroots movements, that they're being organized by the people. But there's already a lot of contention out there as to whether this is true, especially coming from the liberal media outlets. They're doing a lot of evidence that says that corporations are really funding these tea parties, that they're funding the websites behind them, the advertising, even the merchandise. There's already T-shirts out there and stickers and teacups. So we'll see. And also, these tea parties aren't an entirely new idea. The Libertarian Party has supported them in the past, especially during Ron Paul's presidential campaign. So right now, some of the Libertarians are getting a little angry, saying that the Republican Party is really just jumping on their idea, trying to jump on the bandwagon for media coverage.
Well, getting plenty of attention quite clearly, but what exactly are their demands?
Well, they're really unhappy about all of the government spending that's going on, especially the massive stimulus package that was passed back in February. And some of them are asking for Secretary of the Treasury, Tim Geithner, to step down and resign. But there isn't a concrete list of demands. So really, I think this is more about a general hysteria that's going on here in the country about the economic situation. Perhaps it's reached some kind of a tipping point. Now, to explore a little more into that, we can look at a report by our correspondent, Marina Portnaya.
Financial frustrations have reached a boiling point in America, and Wednesday, anger is transforming into action.
Banks got bailed out!
Hundreds of rallies or tea parties are being organized to take place on tax day. It is an unprecedented nationwide backlash, first predicted by trend forecaster Gerald Celente in 2008.
The tea parties are just the beginning. The tax revolts are just the beginning. We're going to see a revolution in this country that's going to rival the Founding Fathers' revolution. People know that they're getting ripped off. They don't want to bail out bankers and the ultra-rich.
Washington says the goal of the federal funded bailouts is to get lending and borrowing back on track. But Celente says the initial problem for the crisis is being disguised as the solution.
So now what President Obama is saying, let's free up the credit lines so that banks could lend and people could borrow. Oh, borrow more? The public is $14 trillion in debt. Median household income is below 1999 levels. This is insanity. And they're passing it off as normal. It's abnormal.
U.S. taxpayers, sinking in their own debt, are footing the bills aimed at keeping the auto industry, banks, and now life insurance companies afloat. This as more than 5 million jobs have evaporated in the U.S. since 2007. With retail, real estate, and manufacturing expected to worsen, Celente says one sector of the national economy will skyrocket: crime.
Gangs are spreading throughout this country. There's no amount of police that's going to be able to protect the people from all these gangs. You're going to start seeing kidnappings. There's a lot of resentment against the rich getting everything and the poor getting not a lot. So people are going to gravitate toward crimes as their new political families, as their infrastructure for support.
Today, most Americans find themselves engaged in a fight against government intervention and growing tax burdens. President Obama still remains relatively popular in the States, but his promise of hope is no longer enough for the struggling citizens still waiting for the change. Marina Portnaya, RT, New York. Well, I don't know if we're really going to see a revolution, but I think that today the turnout will really help gauge how far the anger is going to spread here in the U.S.
Not a revolution, but certainly a significant protest. The question is, though, how likely is it, though, that these tea parties will actually change what America is being forced to swallow at the moment?
I don't think it's too likely that they're going to change much. The stimulus bill has already been passed. The plans here are already underway. And really the people pushing these tea parties are the Republican Party, who, in the meantime, aren't in control here in the U.S. They're in the minority. So it doesn't really seem like they're going to be able to change much. But Barack Obama, in the meantime, just gave a speech on the economy yesterday where he says that he already sees a glimmer of hope and that things are going to get better. So, and I also read a poll the other day done by Politico, which is a news source here, where it says that 2/3 of American people do think that Barack Obama is the politician to solve their problems. So we'll see how things go.
Certainly will. Alena Minkowski reporting live from Washington, D.C.